Come on, get your breath. Just take a breath for a moment. It's going so fast, right? Hi, I'm Janine Macklin, transformational speaker, wealth guide, and catalyst. And I wanted to hop on here right quick with some facts. I can keep track of them and some fun. I had to look up a word for us, though. I've gotten into this lately where I would look up words to see what does this mean, what does that mean. Although it's not showing me my word, I know it's in here. There it is. So, how are you? I'm good today. How are you today? I know that I started an awareness of this on March 13th. When did you start? So if we're looking at March, we have April, May, June, July. So we're 4 months in. And when we started, I gave you something that I still want you to keep. So if you get stuck or you're trying to figure out what can I do, or you get lost in all of the stuff that's going on, I want you to remember these. But first, I want to remind you of a word. I want to remind you of something because yesterday I was really sad about my dentist and all the doctors and everything changes. But I know for many of you, that's probably nothing compared to what you're having to deal with in your life. And I know what's happening in the government may not be giving you any sense of solace or peace, may actually be adding to your frustration. If you've been listening to me, you know I've been talking about the children returning to school since they left school because it's so many of them. We got a lot of kids, a lot of schools throughout this nation, country, world. And so now the reality is coming. And I know it's frustrating because almost everything becomes a political issue, and it's an issue around money. And if there's nothing else I got from Mary Trump's book, is that the person who is in the lead position is true to his character and to his role. When you look at the huge demonstrations, hey, Kat, thanks for being here. You realize it's just the same kind of stunts and things he did on his show, which I can never remember because I didn't look at it that much. What was the show? I just remember the end thing was the tag, the brand became "You're fired" because they were firing everybody. So when you have these huge displays, the only thing is that it doesn't give you the peace and the solace that you may be looking for from the person who would be in charge of all these 50 plus states. And it may cause you to doubt yourself. It may cause you to feel like, like they used to say when I was growing up, the world's going to hell in a handbasket. But I realized transformation is not easy. When I'm working with clients to shift their mindsets about money and to trust this process and know you can have more, it's not easy. And I know what I'm doing. I lived it. They could trust me probably better than they could trust him, for that matter. Why is somebody walking up to my house? So I know it can feel so uncomfortable for you at times. And you may not feel like you're getting the support or the solace that you may want or need. And what I wanted to remind you of, it's a word I looked up specifically, is something called resilience. Each and every one of you, whoever heals this, you have resilience and you have been resilient. Oh, it's FedEx, great. You've been resilient on this journey. I don't care if you're 22, you're 26, if you're 30, if you're 45, if you're 52, if you're 60. You have had to be resilient. And that means that somewhere within you, you had to either adapt or you had to shift. And what we used to call it was our bounce back muscle. It's your ability to bounce back. And that's what we have to do. You have to bounce back from what I was going through yesterday and the release and letting go and realizing change was happening. And now, not today, but next week, I'll begin to look for another dentist and talk with friends and see. And if things have changed and they are the way they are, then I'll accept it. But you have within you the ability to bounce back. And one of the wonderful things about this bounce back muscle that God, life, and the universe has given us, and that you've cultivated. If you've lived on this planet, you've cultivated, because it's not an easy planet to live on. I mean, it's funny. There's so many sci-fi shows, and I rarely look at them with all these stories about other planets and what's going to happen in other places. And we always look at those looking at some other time, but we never look at those thinking, oh, that's our planet. That's what we may be going through. Well, we're going through it now. How many of those stories are about feast and famine and the end of the world and aliens and, oh yeah, the aliens are coming. That would be a nice spin on things right now. And oh, the Transformers, that's all of that. But you have the capacity and the ability within you because you've done it before. Now, granted, the circumstances may have been different. Maybe it was that you lost a job. Maybe it was your home and you had to move from one state to another state. Maybe it was a divorce. Maybe it was a health crisis where you had to just do everything you could to sustain yourself. But you've had to bounce back before. I mean, when you think about it, as I'm speaking, life really is about bouncing back. Things are going to come that seem to knock us over, knock us off balance, or just knock us out completely. How long do we really get to stay down like this before we have to slowly come back up? And if anybody out there has children, you know you don't get to lay down much because they're going to be bugging you. They may be part of the mechanism for our bouncing back. But I just want to remind you today, this is a fact. This is the fact part. You have it within you. If you take the time and turn within and turn off the TV and stop listening to everybody and just know within you the best things for yourself and your family right now. What's going to keep you safe right now? What's going to give you a connection to your faith right now? What's going to keep you smiling with your children or with yourself right now? Because some of you are at home by yourself. Do you like to paint? If not, do you want to try? Do you want to be a wine connoisseur? If not, do you want to try? Do you like to sew and make, how could I miss the biggest thing we talk about, masks? But you have this within you, and I want you to know that. I don't want you to just feel like you're helpless because you can't make those connections with family and friends, maybe like you usually do. We see them, we hug them, their energy infuses us, our energy infuses them. I mean, that's really what's happening. And we don't get that rush anymore from them, but you can get that in the stillness, in your prayer time, in nature, in meditating, in yoga, in laughing, in dancing, in continuing to tell yourself that you're willing to put one foot in front of the other and that you will make it through this. It will be bumpy, but you have the muscle, you have the power, and you've already cultivated. This isn't something where I have to learn how to do this. I'm not sure how to do this. No, the first time you lost a job, you learned how to do it. Or at least you began to develop it. The first time the doctor gave you a diagnosis that said you had to have surgery and you're like, what? And what it was going to take for you to get prepared for the surgery or what it was going to take for your recovery. Somewhere in there you decided you were going to get well. Somewhere in you decided you wanted your life to be different. Somewhere if the marriage was or wasn't working and you decided you're going to make some shifts and changes, it was because you decided you wanted something different. And then something inside of you just said, okay, we'll help you. We'll support you. So right now, if for some reason you're feeling like I just can't do this, this is too much. It's just, between the schools, between the unemployment, between the not having enough money, between losing jobs, between being in the house and feeling like I'm in a cage, I just can't do it. Yes, you can. Just take a deep breath. Okay, I was cooking. Did I turn everything off? Shucks. Take a deep breath. Don't remember if I did. Now, understand, it wasn't just given to me. It was given to all of us. The ability to bounce back. We have the ability within us to bounce back from whatever it is that we need to. What I thought I left it on cooking. Sorry. So now it's simply a matter of you recognizing I have everything that I need to be able to bounce back from this experience and to make decisions for myself and my family as needed. I am capable, I am equipped to do just that. So trust and know that. Call that forth within you. Let the universe move through you and you'll be surprised. Okay, because you have it. You have what it takes. You were built for this. That's why you're here on the planet. Everybody's looking at the people who are leaving. Some people were going to leave during this time. Everything's not COVID. People die all the time, all year long. And we don't keep track of them and how many and what they're doing. But I know this is a different situation. I'm just saying, You were built to be here at this time, at this moment. So trust you. You have the power and ability within you to bounce back. There's a lot of words we can use for resilience. Your bounce back muscle. It's your elasticity. It's about how flexible you can be. Ah, that's nice, right? How adaptable you can be. And that's what this is about, because change is about adapting. One day we adapt to wearing masks. Then we adapt to being home for whatever time. So we had curfews. Then we had to adapt to not only wearing masks, but putting on plastic gloves. Then as things start to set in our own consciousness, we're like, well, wait a minute. There's a bug, disease, or something going on out there, and you can get it from touching. Then we just start making our own changes. I saw a gentleman yesterday who had on a mask that I knew looked like a military mask. You know, the kind with the thing here and the two things on the side. I just want you to know you have the power to be adaptable. If you get up tomorrow morning and they say, okay, the kids are going to school and you have this choice, you can adapt to whatever. Okay, we have to drink more water, you can adapt to that. Okay, well, we're going to have to change this. You have the ability to adapt. As long as you don't do like this, it's, you can't do this, it's not right, it's not happening. Well, you can do that. You just can't stay in that position because it's too strict for you to stay in that position in the midst of change. Everything's changing. You've got to be fluid. You've got to be flexible. You really have to be like the kids. You know, they roll, they play, they bump their head, they keep on going. That's what you want to pull out within you. That kid-like energy that's flexible, that's fun, that lets things roll off their back, that just finds the next toy to play with or the next thing to do, and they just keep on moving. That's the energy you want to access within you while we keep watching everything unfold more and more and more. I have to contend that I don't know what I want to call this show up there at WH, but there's a show going on. It reminds me of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, but I don't know what's going to come out of the hat up there at WH, but just be willing to roll with it, because I'm sure there's going to be more and more as we get closer and closer to the election. You know, I know, let's just stay right here in July and still enjoy summer, but resilience, be able to flow and roll with what's happening. I know some of you have lost jobs. I know some of you are wondering how you're going to make it. And I also know that there are people, I put on my page, my personal page, if somebody needs help, let me know, I'll help. I know there are lines of people who are getting food every single day here in Pasadena at the Rose Bowl. So I know there are efforts being made to help and that there are resources that are being provided. It will take time for you simply to know and to ask and that they're being provided. So know that you can get what you want. I know at one point we were all putting cash apps, telling people, you know, if you need help, put your cash app. We can at least send you some money that might give you some support. So just know you don't have to do it by yourself. In the meantime, resilience. You have that muscle. You've cultivated that muscle. Okay, when you got beat up at school, you cultivated that muscle and went back to school the next day. And you beat somebody up maybe. But on a lighter note, you have the power within you. Now, when it comes to the fun part, go have fun. You can still go to the park and do a water balloon fight, make you a circle on the grass and tell people don't come in your circle, and have a picnic at the park. I must stay away from the beaches because you don't know how to behave. When you go to the beach, you're supposed to just do exercise and walk on the boardwalk. Do you want to go out there to the water? Fine. I guess make you another circle, but make sure nobody gets in your circle and you stay distant enough from each other and you have on your mask. And find the sparsest part of the beach to be on. Stop trying to go down there and see what other people are doing. Go find your own little spot by yourself. Or maybe you have somebody who has a swimming pool in your neighborhood. You go there because it's hot here. I don't know how it is for you. But when we started earlier, 4 months ago, what I said to you for each day was to ask yourself, what do I appreciate today? What do you appreciate? We're still here for some reason. Next, what am I responsible for today? I need you to stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. What are you responsible for today? And then this is what I wrote all over it, so I can't even read my whole own handwriting. What thoughts am I thinking? So you can be mindful of what you're thinking. If you're scaring yourself with, oh my God, is this going to happen? Or what about this and what about that? Just stay in this moment right here, right now. We're okay right now. What one thing can I do to be more present? That's always good. What's happening right now for you? I decided to record Perry Mason because I keep missing him coming on here at 9 o'clock. I would have to find a Perry Mason series. Somebody gave me that years ago for one of my birthdays, but I didn't see any more. I would like to have another one. And then the last thing is, how can I touch someone else's life today? Take the focus off of you. Take it off of yours. Give each other hugs and kisses. Give yourself hugs and kisses. Give yourself a big old hug. Give yourself some kisses. And then turn out there and just wonder, how can I touch someone else's life today? Take good care. Have a great Friday. Have a great Saturday. Have an amazing Sunday. Have some fun. Enjoy yourself. Can you sleep in? I've been trying to sleep in. This was the day I was going to sleep in. I'm going to keep my pajamas on so I won't leave, because if I take my pajamas off or my gown, then I'm out. Of course, my son has a physical exam at 1:45. So there goes that. But until then, I'm just going to stay. So you do it too. Enjoy it. Enjoy every single moment. Do not look back on this and say, oh, I was so miserable. I just couldn't take advantage of the time because I was so scared. Please be present. This is your life. We're still living our lives. We're still living our lives. We've been given this opportunity, I believe, by God, life in the universe, to change that a little bit and to see how we can do it differently. We're not all bumping up against each other in the stores. We're not clogging up the roads, going everywhere or nowhere, or burning up gas and electricity. The sky is still beautiful because we don't have as much pollution up there. So live it. Have fun, take pictures, do your video recordings. You don't have to paste everything on Facebook. All your friends aren't on Facebook. Send them to family members, but live this, enjoy this. So when we look back at you, remember the summer of Corona? I mean, for me, I remember the summer of HIV and AIDS. I am an ordained minister. I was doing memorial services back to back. We couldn't do enough. There were so many young men and women making their transitions. And we made it through that. We'll make it through this too. Those who are supposed to be here on the planet will be here. And we'll do what we've been called to do for as long as we've been called to do it. To support each other, to love each other, to be compassionate about all of humanity and not leave anybody behind. So have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday, unless something really, really weird happens at WH. In the meantime, I'm just waiting to see what's the name of the show that the man had? You're Fired. The what? The Apprentice. The Apprentice. Yes, I'm waiting to see if there are going to be any more Apprentice-like events at WH. Okay, take good care. Bye for now. Have a great weekend.